Hey guys, so this is going to be a different video and I'm just going to warn you guys ahead of time. It's probably going to be a very long video. You guys will be watching this in the future, so you all will already know how long it'll be down here and you guys can see how long it is. But it is probably going to be a very long video, but it's a very important video that needs to be made. So this video again is a different kind of video, but I have to make it, and I kind of want to use this video to change my channel's direction in kind of a sort of different way than what I've been uploading recently. So I just want to say I'm sorry for my appearance right now. I am also filming in a new location. I'm filming in front of my bed. There's that, and also I have no makeup on. My hair is done, but I have no makeup on. I just didn't feel like putting makeup on, and so I didn't. And I also don't feel like that's necessary for this kind of video. So anyways, we're going to jump right into it and I'll explain to you guys where I've been. So if you guys have watched my previous videos, you know kind of the struggle that I've been going through this year. I've lost a lot of people. I've lost a lot of things this year. I've just had a really, really bad year. And September has kind of taken a turn even worse than it was before. On the very first day of September, my stepdad fell in my kitchen, which I will include everything that I've posted on social media about these events. I'll also include in these videos somewhere. But my stepdad fell in my living room. I was home alone with him. I have anxiety anyways, so when he fell and he was unresponsive, he was awake, but he was bug-eyed and he was shaking really hard and he wasn't speaking, he wasn't responding at all. I called 911. I called my mother. My mother came home. But the fire company and like all the EMS people in our county are volunteers, and so we had to wait 3 hours with him passed out on our floor until the ambulance got there. It happened around 10 o'clock on September 1st, Thursday, and by the time we had got him to the hospital it was almost 1:30. So from 10 to 1:30, that's quite a few hours of waiting around, just not knowing what to do. We tried to get him up and put him in our vehicle and get him to the hospital, and we couldn't get him up. We couldn't do anything. We covered him up. We gave him pillows. We tried to make him as comfortable as possible while we waited on the ambulance, but there was no possible way for us to know what to do or how to get him up or anything like that. So we just kind of had to sit there and watch him for 3 hours, and that was really, really rough. So when we did finally get him to the hospital, they had ran a bunch of tests. We at first thought he had a stroke. They ran a bunch of tests and figured out it wasn't a stroke, but his heart rate had been dropped. And anyways, they kept him for, it happened on a Thursday. They kept him. He did come home on Monday. And they still didn't really know what had happened. They think, they ran a bunch of tests. He didn't have a heart attack. He didn't have anything major. So they kind of narrowed it down and think that it was his pills that they had put him on. About 3 weeks prior to this, maybe even a little bit longer, they had put him on blood pressure pills. His blood pressure is naturally too high, so they put him on pills to lower it, and apparently it lowered it too much, and that's why he passed out. So when he got home from the hospital that week, he had to wear a heart monitor for a week. He went back to the doctor actually a week from today, and they're still not completely sure what's going on. He's having to meet up with his family doctor and all that kind of stuff to figure out what they're going to do, and if it was the blood pressure medicine, how they're going to lower his blood pressure without lowering it too much. So they're still working through that. So that happened on the 1st of September, and then he came home on the 5th, which was the Monday, and he had to go through all that stuff. And then, hey guys, so I was just editing that video that you guys are watching. As you can see here, I was editing it and realized that I forgot to mention that on the 2nd of September, my sister had oral surgery. At this time, my stepdad was still in the hospital. He had just got admitted, and my sister had to undergo oral surgery. She had her wisdom teeth removed earlier that week, and she had some complications of it. She got a dry socket, and then an infection, and then just all this stuff kept happening. So while my stepdad was still in the hospital, my sister also had oral surgery, and then of course everything else happened. But I just wanted to include that to let you guys know that that was just another thing that happened. And yeah, so my sister had oral surgery, which was also very stressful at the time for me. So that's also something that happened this month that made it extremely hard for me. And then on the 9th, about a week and a half ago now, I was super overwhelmed, obviously, with all this stuff. I had missed my previous therapy appointment, and so stuff had just been building up. So on Friday, the 9th of September, my parents had got into an argument. I don't really remember what it was about, but I ended up getting brought into it. We argued for a while, and then finally I couldn't take it anymore, and I ended up cutting my wrist. If you guys can see right there, it looks really gross right now. It's still healing, but it looks a lot better than it did. But anyways, I cut my wrist, and I didn't realize what would happen through all this. Everybody thinks that it was a suicide attempt. It wasn't really a suicide attempt. It was more of just an outlet. Like, I didn't feel like I had an outlet, and I just had so many built up emotions from this entire year, basically, that I hadn't talked through or hadn't worked through or anything like that. So it would just built up to the point where I had to take it out on something, and I ended up taking it out on myself. And because of that, I was considered a danger to myself, and the cops ended up coming to my house. An ambulance came to my house. All this drama, weird stuff happened, and I didn't intend for it to happen at all. But it did, and I can't change it now. So I got to the hospital. They put 9 stitches in my arm, which you guys can still kind of see where the stitches were. Sorry. But I got 9 stitches put in my arm, and then a therapist, a psychiatrist, came and talked to me and said, hey, look, do you want to be put in treatment for depression and anxiety and just everything you've been dealing with this year? They said, you know, because you went to this extreme matters, we kind of have to put you here anyways. So we want to know, will you go voluntarily, or are we going to have to get something set up through a court system or anything like that? So I was 100% willing to do it. So I went. I thought it would be good to kind of work through these problems and have somebody to at least talk to and that kind of stuff. But I was absolutely terrified when I went in. I was completely terrified. I've never even been admitted to a regular hospital, let alone like a psychiatric behavioral health unit, as they called it. So I was really terrified. I didn't know what to expect. I had watched way too many movies where everybody in there that they portray to be in there are just completely like psychotic, but it was nothing like that. I will talk about my experience there in a different video, because like I said, I do want to use this experience to help others and to let you guys know what I've been through and share my experience in case any of you guys feel the same way or want to seek treatment and are scared to, or whatever the case may be. I want to kind of open it up and talk about it openly, because it's nothing to be ashamed of. I really, for the first couple days, I was really ashamed of it all, and I really didn't want anybody to know. I kind of wanted it hush-hush, but of course, I live in a small town, so word gets around fast, and everybody already knew. So I might as well just embrace it, talk about it, and not only to help me so that I can learn and grow from it, but to also help anybody else who might be going through this. So that is why I'm making this video, also because I need to explain to you guys where I've been. But again, I would make more videos about the specifics of this. Just let me know any questions you guys have down below. But basically, treatment was so much fun. I wasn't allowed to We were allowed phone calls. We didn't have TVs in our room, but we had TVs in a lounge. Basically, I compared it with the people that were in there that I met. I compared it to Celebrity Rehab. It was kind of like that. If you guys have ever seen Dr. Drew's show, Celebrity Rehab, or the other shows like that that he has, there's a couple other ones that I can't think of right now, but there are a couple other ones like that. We each had our separate rooms, we had our separate beds, separate bathrooms, but we didn't have TVs, we weren't allowed to have like certain things, like we weren't allowed to have strings, or anything that we could harm ourselves with, so that kind of thing. And we also were not allowed to have our phones. We had a phone in the facility that we were allowed to use to call, but we couldn't have our own personal phones. And I kind of understood it once I got in there. All our therapy sessions were done with groups, and it kind of helped build friendships a lot, because I've met a lot of great people there, and we still keep in touch now, and it's good to just kind of feed off each other and be like, hey, this is what's happening, how's your life going, and just kind of help each other through this. But like I said, we had TVs in it was kind of like a lounge. We did puzzles, we had coloring sheets, and then we had like group activities where we would sit down, and they had one where they had a music session. They brought a harp and a cello in, and it was really cool to kind of just have that music behind us and relax and, like, you know, whatever. And we also did, like, we would paint in some of our groups, like, however we were feeling or whatever came to mind, we would just paint and explain what we had envisioned for our paintings, or just any little things like that. We also had a goal setting group where in the morning we would meet at like 8 o'clock right after breakfast, or like 9 o'clock usually, and we would meet and we would set a goal for the day, and then at the end of the day we'd have another group where we'd talk about our goals, whether we hit them or not, and what we learned or why we didn't hit them, or if we did hit them. And of course, not all facilities are the same, but that's just my experience about it. I can give you guys more details about it if you want in a different video, but that's just the basics of my group. I also learned that most people in there are not psychotic. A lot of people in there were people just like me who just happen to have a little bit of anxiety sometimes, or were depressed, or whatever the situation is, but it was such normal people that you wouldn't even think. So it's definitely not anything to be scared of. And again, I'll go more in detail about that in another video, but it definitely was not what I expected. So anyways, this whole thing happened on Friday the 9th, and I stayed there. They finally got me admitted into the facility about 4 o'clock on Saturday morning, so I stayed overnight in the ER basically, and then I went to the facility, got checked in there, slept for a couple hours, got up, did breakfast, and I stayed there until this past Tuesday, which was the 13th, and then they released me. They got my medicine kind of straightened out, they got my sleep schedule back on track, and basically there was nothing else they could do for me. Basically they just sent me home and said, here, follow up with your doctor, which I'm going to do this Thursday, which is another situation I'll get to in a minute. But basically I came home, relaxed a little bit, unpacked. I cleaned up my room so everything would be nice and clean, so that I wouldn't get anxiety over that. And then on Wednesday, which was the 14th, I had therapy. I had to go get blood drawn. I had just a bunch of like follow-up stuff I had to do, so I did all that, and you know, the day was fine. And on Thursday, which was the 15th, our vehicle broke down. It needs an alternator, and so that was kind of just a bummer for me, because I have appointments and follow-up stuff that I have to do this week coming. I'm filming this on Monday, by the way, but I have lots of follow-up stuff that I have to do this week, and I'm kind of having a hard time trying to figure out how to do it, but I will get it figured out, hopefully. But anyways, that was just kind of a bummer when I first got home, because I had just got home from treatment. I was excited, I was happy, I was ready to change my life, to make things different, to be happy, and then that just kind of bummed me out a little bit. And then after that, on Friday, me and my brother hung out. We went to Treasure Mountain Festival, which is a festival they have every year. It's an annual festival. It's centered around a battle that happened in my county during the Civil War, and so my brother picked me up. We went and hung out there for a little bit, and Friday was good. Saturday, my sister got into a car accident. Luckily, she is okay, thank the Lord, but she got into an accident and totaled her car. She didn't have any major injuries. She does have some bruising and like a rash from like seat belts and stuff like that, but she is okay and good. But that still was just like another thing to add to the list that makes 2016 one of the worst years of my life. So it just kind of, again, changed my mood down. I had tried to ignore the fact that my mom's car broke down and went out with my brother, and then Saturday, of course, just something else bad happened. And then yesterday, I found out one of my friends, one of my very, very dear friends, who might even be in a video of mine somewhere, a vlog, I'm sure, but she was in a car accident. Her father is like an uncle to me. I've known him my entire life. She lived in North Carolina, and then she came up here and stayed a few years with her dad, and me and her got really, really close during that time, and she went back down south, and she came up this summer. We hung out. Everything was fine. I still love her, still talk to her. She's still one of my best friends. But I found out yesterday that she had also been in a car accident, and it was really, really tough. I kind of broke down a little bit because again, it was just like another thing to add to the list. And she is like my sister, basically. I consider her like my little sister, and she has a lot of injuries. She's alive, she's well, and that's all good, and I'm so thankful that she is, but she has a long road ahead of her, and it just kind of disappointed me to know that like things like this happen, and it's just so sad to me because she did nothing to deserve this. She actually has a GoFundMe page up right now trying to raise money so that her family can stay with her, so I will link it down below if you guys want to go donate or want to go find out all the details about that. She broke her jaw, she lost some teeth, she has to have her jaw wired shut for a couple weeks. Although it kind of really sucked for her, it could have been a lot worse, and I'm thankful that it's not, but it's been hitting me hard, and I don't understand why bad things like that have to happen to such sweet people. Natalie, if you ever watch this, I love you, girl, and I'm sorry this had to happen to you. But you're strong, and you will get through this, and like I told you, I will be here for you as much as I can through this. So I love you, girl, and stay strong. And I don't know what you're going to do with your jaw wired shut for such a long time. I hope it helps you, and I've been praying for you, and I hope that you get better soon. So I love you. But yeah, so that's basically the update of everything that has happened this month. Hopefully nothing else bad happens, but I just wanted to give you guys an update and let you guys know that I love you and I'm still here. Have been going through a rough time this year. But again, any questions you guys have about treatment, about anything that has gone on in my life this year that you guys might be going through as well, any questions about treatment, about self-harm, depression, anxiety, anything that I've talked about in this video or in previous videos that you guys want to know more about, please let me know. I have a bunch of videos coming for you guys about my experience with treatment and what I thought of it, and also just more videos talking about my anxiety and what I do to cope with it and all that kind of stuff. So I do want to change this channel to be more to that side of things. I'm still going to do makeup videos. I'm still going to do like cooking videos. I just want to make this like a lifestyle channel. I just want to change this channel to be a reflection of me and who I am as a person. I don't want to be classified as just one thing. I don't want to be classified as just a beauty channel. I don't want to be classified as just a cooking channel. I don't want to be classified as just a vlog channel. I want to be I want to make this channel me, and the truth is I like cooking, I like makeup sometimes, I like talking to you guys about what's going on in the world, I like talking about music, I like giving you guys advice and talking about my experience with things and doing story times and all that stuff that YouTube is. I don't want to be classified as doing just one of those things. I want to do all of them and just whatever comes to my mind at that time. If I feel like making a beauty video, I'll make a beauty video. If I feel like making an advice video, I'm going to do that. So I just want this channel to be as open and honest and about what I like at the moment. So I hope you guys are okay with me changing this channel a little bit. I kind of don't really stick to a theme anyways. I kind of do whatever I want, but I want to transform it even more into just, I want to start making advice videos and talking about my experience and helping you guys out as much as possible, but also having the cooking videos and the makeup videos and all that. So I hope you guys are okay with that. If you're not, then you can gladly unsubscribe, but this channel is mine and I want to make it about what I like and what I like to do and reflect my personality. So that's the update, and I'm sure this has been really, really long. My camera has cut off on me twice now, but yeah, so hopefully this video will go over well. That's just an update on my life. Again, if you guys have any questions or want to ask me anything, please let me know and I will address it. I apologize for being away for so long. I've just been taking a mental health break for a while, but videos will be back. I have a Music Monday video already planned to make for you guys, and also more videos talking about stuff like this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys who were worried about me on social media understand better what happened, and yeah, so I love you guys. I will see you all in my next video, and leave me questions for my next video. Bye guys.